You probably think you're behind. Almost everyone does. You look at the car in the next lane, the vacation photos on your feed, the coworker who just bought a bigger house, and a voice in the back of your head says everyone else has this figured out except you. But that voice is working with terrible information because it's comparing your real messy financial life to everyone else's highlight reel. And the truth is, a huge number of people who feel behind are actually far ahead of most of the country without ever realizing it. So today, instead of another video about how you're failing, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to show you 10 signs that you are genuinely ahead of most people financially. Signs that you are right now richer than you think. And I want you to actually keep score as we go. Count how many of these 10 apply to you, because by the end, I think the number is going to surprise you, and it might just lift a weight off your chest that you've been carrying for no reason. Because here's the thing almost nobody tells you. The bar for being ahead in this country is far, far lower than the highlight reel makes it look. Most people are struggling in ways they hide behind a confident smile and a financed car. So if you've been lying awake feeling like you're losing a race, this video might be the reality check that finally lets you exhale. Let's count them down. Sign number 1 that you're ahead. You have money in the bank for emergencies. This sounds almost too simple, but stay with me, because it's genuinely enormous. Picture a room filled with 100 everyday people, and someone announces that a surprise $1,000 bill just landed on each of them. A car repair, an ER visit, a broken furnace. Now watch what happens in that room. More than half of them go pale because they could not cover it without reaching for a credit card or a loan. Picture a huge chunk of that crowd raising their hands to say they'd have to borrow to survive. One bad day. So if you have even a small cushion of savings sitting in an account, even $1,000, even a few set aside for exactly that kind of emergency, picture yourself as one of the few people in that room standing calm while everyone else panics. You have something most people do not. A buffer between yourself and disaster. That is not a small thing. That is the entire foundation of financial peace. And most of the country is standing on bare ground without it. Sign number 2, you can cover your bills without going into debt each month. Picture a person's paycheck landing at the start of the month. And picture it as a bucket of water. For a massive number of people, that bucket is already empty before the month is over. They run out, and the last stretch of every month gets paid for with credit cards, with borrowing, with a growing balance that never quite goes away. Picture them refilling the bucket each payday only to watch it run dry again, and reaching for a credit card to make it to the next fill-up, month after month, forever. So if your income actually covers your life, if you get to the end of the month and you have not gone deeper into debt to get there, you are doing something a shocking number of people cannot do. Picture your bucket reaching the end of the month with something still in it, or at least not cracked and leaking borrowed money. Living within your means sounds boring and obvious, but it is the exact line that separates people who are building a life from people who are slowly sinking. And if you're on the right side of it, you're ahead. Sign number 3, you have zero credit card debt or you pay it off in full every month. Picture 2 people who both use credit cards for everything. They look identical at the checkout counter, but picture what happens at the end of the month, behind closed doors. The first person pays the balance off completely, uses the card as a simple tool, collects the rewards, and pays not a single cent of interest. Picture the money flowing through their hands cleanly, nothing lost. The second person can only pay part of it, so a balance rolls over, and picture a meter switching on, charging brutal interest, often north of 20%, grinding away on that balance every single day. If you are the first person, if you're not carrying a balance, not feeding that meter, not paying a premium forever on things you bought months ago, you have escaped one of the single most expensive traps in modern life. Picture yourself walking right past the meter that's draining everyone around you. A stunning number of households carry credit card debt as a permanent fact of life. Being free of it doesn't just feel good. It means every dollar you earn is actually yours. Sign number 4, you invest money regularly, even a small amount. Picture 2 people the exact same age. One of them puts a little money into investments every single month. Not a lot, just a steady, boring automatic amount. And the other keeps meaning to start someday once things settle down. Now picture time-lapse the next 20 years. Picture the first person's small monthly seed growing into a tree, then a grove, then a forest, the growth building on itself faster and faster, and picture the second person still standing at the edge, still waiting for the perfect moment that never comes, now decades behind with no way to buy back the lost time. Here's the reality most people don't grasp. A huge portion of the population invests nothing at all, ever. So if you have any kind of investment habit, a retirement account at work, a little going into index funds, anything at all compounding in the background, you are not just ahead, you're playing a completely different game than most people, because you've got time itself working for you, and time is the one thing money can't buy back. Sign number 5, you own assets that put money in your pocket or grow in value. Picture 2 tables. On the first table, picture the things that take money out of your pocket every month. The financed car, the gadgets losing value, the stuff that only ever costs. On the second table, picture the things that put money in or grow over time. Investments, a retirement account, a share of a business, a home building equity, anything that works for you instead of against you. Most people spend their entire lives piling things onto the first table, the table of stuff that drains them. If you have started building the second table, if you own even a few things that grow or pay you rather than just cost you, picture that table slowly getting heavier and heavier while it feeds you. That is the actual mechanism of wealth, the thing the genuinely rich do that everyone else doesn't. You don't need a lot on that second table to be ahead. You just need to have understood that the second table is where the game is won, and to have started building it at all. Now let me pause here halfway through the first 5, because there's something underneath all of these that I need you to see, and it reframes the entire video. Notice that not one of these signs was about being flashy. Not one was about a luxury car, a designer wardrobe, a big house, an expensive watch. Every single sign so far has been invisible. A cushion in an account, the absence of debt, a habit running in the background. And that is the great secret hiding in plain sight. Real financial strength is almost completely invisible from the outside. Picture 2 houses on the same street. In front of one is a gleaming new luxury SUV, and behind that door is a pile of debt and an empty savings account. In front of the other is a plain older car, and behind that door is no debt, a full emergency fund, and growing investments. The person who looks richer is often the one drowning. The person who looks ordinary is often the one who's actually free. So if you've been feeling behind because you don't look as rich as the people around you, understand that looking rich and being rich are usually opposites, and the quiet invisible signs you're collecting are the real ones. Now let's finish the list because it gets even better. Sign number 6, you're not losing sleep over money on a daily basis. This one isn't a number, and that's exactly why it matters so much. Picture a person lying awake at 3 in the morning, ceiling above them, doing frantic math in the dark. How to cover the rent, how to stretch to payday, which bill to skip this month. Picture that low, constant hum of money dread following them through every single day, coloring every decision, sitting on their chest like a weight they can't put down. That is the daily reality for an enormous number of people, and it is exhausting in a way that's hard to describe, until it lifts. So if you can go through most ordinary days without that grinding financial panic, if money is a thing you manage rather than a thing that terrorizes you, picture that weight simply not being on your chest. That absence, that calm, is one of the truest signs of being ahead there is. Because the entire point of money was never the number, it was the peace. And if you already have some of that peace, you already have some of the real prize. Sign number 7, your income is growing or you're actively building skills to make it grow. Picture 2 people's earning power drawn as lines over the years. The first line runs flat, the same job, the same paycheck, the same skills at 40 as at 25, hoping for the world to hand them a raise while giving it no new reason to. The second line climbs, this person is learning, adding skills, taking on more, becoming more valuable, deliberately raising their own ceiling year after year. Picture the second line pulling further and further above the first with each passing year. If you are that second line, if your income has been rising, or even if it hasn't yet, but you are actively investing in yourself, learning things, building skills the world will pay more for, you are doing something most people stop doing the moment school ends. You've understood that you are your own greatest asset and that sharpening yourself is the highest return investment there is. That upward trajectory means your future is bigger than your present, and that alone puts you ahead of everyone whose line went flat and stayed there. Sign number 8. You can make purchases without checking your bank balance in a panic. Picture the difference between 2 people at a grocery store. The first one puts items in the cart doing constant anxious math, checking their account on their phone, putting things back hoping the card doesn't get declined at the register. That specific dread rising as the total climbs. The second person buys what they need, reasonable, normal things, without that spike of fear because they know their basics are covered. This isn't about buying whatever you want without limits. That's not wealth, that's how people go broke. It's about the freedom from panic over ordinary necessary purchases. Picture that moment at the register where one person is bracing and the other is calm. If you can buy groceries, fill your gas tank, handle a normal expense without your stomach dropping, you have crossed a line that a huge number of people have not. That everyday, unremarkable calm is a luxury most of the world does not have. And if it's yours, you're further ahead than you give yourself credit for. Sign number 9. You think in years and decades, not just in this weekend. Picture the mental calendar of someone struggling. It's small and close, spanning this weekend, this paycheck, maybe this month. Every decision made for right now, the treat today, the purchase that feels good this instant, with no room to think further out. Now picture the mental calendar of someone who's ahead. It unrolls like a long scroll, stretching across years and decades. When they make a money decision, they're weighing what it does to the person they'll be in 10, 20, 30 years. Picture them holding a purchase and mentally fast-forwarding to see what that money could become if it were invested instead. If you've started thinking this way, if you find yourself weighing today's choices against your future self, planning ahead, delaying some gratification for a bigger reward later, you have developed the exact mindset that builds wealth. Most people are trapped inside this weekend. If you can see the decades, you can build across them, and that long vision is one of the clearest signs you're going to end up ahead, even if you're not there yet. And sign number 10, the deepest one, the one that ties everything together. You measure yourself against your own goals, not against other people's highlight reels. Picture a person scrolling their phone and picture each post as a tiny dagger. The friend's new car, the cousin's beach vacation, the coworker's kitchen renovation. Each one landing is a little wound, that sinking feeling of everyone's doing better than me. Now picture that same feed being almost entirely a performance. Financed cars, credit card vacations, lives curated to look like winning, while the truth behind the curtain is debt and stress. Comparison is the thief that makes people who are genuinely ahead feel like they're losing. So if you've reached the point where you can look at all of that and feel okay, where you measure your progress against where you were last year and where you want to go, not against a stranger's staged photo, you have won a battle that most people lose every single day. Picture yourself putting the phone down, unbothered, running your own race. That freedom from comparison isn't just good for your happiness, it's what allows every other habit on this list to survive. Because you can't build real wealth while setting fire to your money trying to keep up with people who are broke. So let me show you what all 10 of these signs really mean by looking at two people, because this is where it all comes together. Two people, same city, same paycheck, both earning a solid but ordinary income. From the outside, on the same street, one of them clearly looks like they're winning. Call them Tyler and Jordan. Tyler looks rich. Picture the financed luxury car in the driveway, the newest phone, the designer clothes, the vacation photos posted from a trip, still being paid off. The confident this guy's got it figured out energy. Everyone who sees Tyler assumes he's ahead. But picture behind Tyler's front door, no emergency fund, a credit card balance that never goes away, nothing invested, income that hasn't grown in years, and a person who lies awake at 3 in the morning doing frantic math, one bad month from the whole thing collapsing. Tyler hits almost none of the 10 signs. He looks like the winner and feels like he's drowning, because he is. He spent everything building the appearance of being ahead, and has none of the substance of it. Jordan looks ordinary. Picture the plane, older car, the phone that's a few years old, the normal clothes, nothing flashy to post. A life that would never make anyone jealous on a feed. Nobody looks at Jordan and thinks ahead. But picture behind Jordan's door, an emergency fund sitting ready, zero credit card debt, a small amount flowing into investments every month, income slowly climbing from new skills, a growing second table of assets, and a person who sleeps soundly because a surprise bill is an annoyance, not a catastrophe. Jordan hits nearly every sign on this list. Jordan doesn't look rich, doesn't feel behind, and is by every measure that actually matters, genuinely ahead, free in all the invisible ways that Tyler is trapped. Same income, same street. One built the costume of wealth and the other built the real thing. And here's the twist that should reframe your whole life. You have almost certainly been taught to envy the Tylers and pity the Jordans, when the truth is the exact reverse. So let me bring this all the way home, because if you've been keeping count, I want you to look at your number now. Maybe you hit 3 of these signs, maybe 6, maybe 8. And here's what I need you to understand about whatever that number is. Every single one you hit is a place where you are genuinely, measurably ahead of a massive portion of the population. People who from the outside might look like they're doing better than you, while they're secretly hitting almost none of these. You have been comparing your insides to everyone else's outsides, your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, and losing a race that was never real in the first place. The bar to be ahead in this country is not a mansion and a supercar. It's a small emergency fund. It's no credit card debt. It's investing a little, sleeping at night, running your own race. It's the boring, invisible stuff, and you may have far more of it than you ever gave yourself credit for. So stop feeling behind, look at the signs you already have, and let yourself actually feel how far you've come. Because that recognition isn't just nice, it's fuel. People who realize they're winning keep winning. People who feel hopelessly behind give up. And then take the signs you don't have yet, the gaps on this list, and turn them into your next targets, one at a time. Start the emergency fund, kill the debt, invest the first small amount, put the phone down and stop running someone else's race. You are not as far behind as the highlight reel made you believe. In all the ways that actually matter, the invisible ways, the real ways, you are very likely richer than you think. And now that you can see it, you can build on it. Count your signs, trust the number, and keep going.